Major Music.
What's good in Detroit right now, and just did a tour of the Motown Museum. Now, they didn't allow me to shoot any video inside. They don't let anybody, in fact, but did get a chance to take some good shots. And in this video, just gonna talk about that experience I had in the Motown Museum. All right, so I got a chance to visit the Motown Museum in Detroit, Michigan, and I went there actually originally to Detroit, that is, to see a Pistons game. So I was looking for other things to do in the city, and that was one of the things that I found. Now, going into the tour, they don't let you take any video inside the building, so that's why you're gonna see a lot of still shots during this video. But once you go into the building itself, they have this picture on the wall that actually has just different buildings and different houses on it. Well, if you go down that road, I think it's Grand Avenue, or there's just a whole street where the Motown Museum is located, and there's several houses down that street. Well, actually, Barry Gordy owned all of those houses, and they were actually kind of like different parts of the Motown business. So there was, like, for example, the music studio and the main building that Barry Gordy also lived in upstairs, which they had pretty much everything still intact as it was. But going back to it, the whole road where all of these different houses were, again, one of the houses was the studio. There was a house for like finance. There was like inventory. There were just several different houses. Now eventually they did, and this was a fun fact that the person who was facilitating the tour told us, but the place where the Pistons play now, Little Caesars Arena, the ground that Little Caesars Arena was built on was where the old Motown Records location moved to before they knocked it down and built Little Caesars Arena. And I just thought that was pretty cool for me personally, because I went to the Motown Museum earlier that day, and then I went to the Pistons game later on that night. So just to know that fun fact, I thought was also pretty cool as well. But going into the tour after that, you go into this room where you watch, I think it's about a 15-minute or so video on the history of Motown. They have different interviews from like Smokey Robinson, Barry Gordy, and a couple of other people that had to do with Motown. And then right after that, we actually went to the part of the museum where Barry Gordy used to live at, and it was upstairs. They still had like the table, the television. I think there was even a stove in there, but it was still set up as somebody was living there all of these years. And from there, we then went down into, there was like a receptionist area where, like anybody coming in wanting to do business would check in, or any of the artists, for example, would check in there before going into the studio. And then it was like well, they had one of the old school like vending machines, and they told the story about Stevie Wonder and how he would like to eat Baby Ruth candy bars before studio sessions. And I think there was actually a Baby Ruth bar that was still on top of the machine itself. I didn't get a picture of that, I apologize, but if I'm not mistaken, I think there was. And then there was a, man, I don't know what these, like a switchboard, I guess you call it, but the way they used to communicate from the studio, they had even the old school rotary phone still at the receptionist desk. And I just thought, again, that was pretty cool. I actually, not giving away my age or anything, but I remember, early 80s, even going towards the late 80s, one of my grandmothers still had that rotary phone. So it's not anything that's old to me or anything, or something that I haven't seen in my life, but I just thought it was pretty cool to see. I mean, people aren't using landlines anymore, let alone, I hope you don't have a rotary phone at home, but again, that was pretty cool to see. And then right after that, we actually went into the recording area where they recorded a lot of their songs, the studio, the switchboard. Now, one of the things that I thought was pretty cool about that section is it's actually two things. One, you could see the spot on the floor where the engineers would tap their feet, or whoever was sitting down with the engineer while they were recording. They have a spot where they tap their feet in that area, and it just wore the floor down over the years, and it's still again kept that way. And then the second thing was there was a xylophone that was in the studio. There was a lot of instruments there, but the xylophone in particular, they told us that Stevie Wonder had used it in the production of the Key of Life album, which again I thought was pretty cool. But a lot of those instruments in that room were probably used for a lot of different like Motown projects, and that was cool in itself to see. So yeah, again, the tour lasts for about an hour or so long, and it's $20. Not expensive to do the tour. I definitely, if you're a big music fan, just enjoy the craft. Maybe you're a big, generally speaking, Motown fan, but for me, it was pretty cool just to see the space where a lot of music legends recorded, a lot of timeless music, and it's something that I think everybody, if you go to Detroit and you're a fan of Motown, should get a chance to experience. So I'm not going to make this a long, drawn-out video. I just wanted to come on and kind of recap that experience that I had touring the Motown Museum in Detroit, Michigan. And again, try it out if you're ever in Detroit. It's one of the things that I don't regret about my trip. I really enjoyed just going to Detroit altogether, seeing that, and also watching my Pistons win on that night without Cade Cunningham. But that's a whole another topic for another day. Maybe I should start doing a lot more of those Pistons videos. But that's all I got for y'all. I wanted to make a short video kind of recapping my experience touring the Motown Museum and just showing some of the photos that I took along the way. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to this channel. I like to post a lot of music production related topics, as well as the Major Music Lounge podcast. The Major Music Lounge is for other music creators to come on and talk about their journey creating music. Maybe they had a recent project that came out that they would like to share with us, and more. You can follow me on Instagram at _majormusic. Same thing on Threads. My TikTok, I do not have access to right now because I deleted it once they said they were not going to grant us access to TikTok, and they didn't put it back in the App Store. So you can follow me on there, but I don't know when I'm going to get access to it. Eventually, I hope I get it, but if not, just follow me on Instagram or Threads, or go ahead and hit the subscribe button here on this channel. So that's it. It's me, D. signing off, and I'm out.
Long quest on the highway we call life. Every day is a gamble, time to roll the dice. I want the whole pie, motherfucker slice. On my back a few times, I done pulled the knife. Live right, the karma always come back around. Loyalty, cause the actions always show you down. Profound, seen a lot of people come and go. Music is my life, not a minstrel show. You know what they say, winners keeping score. Niggas ain't eating cause they move too slow. Said before, I'm moving at a different speed. Selective at my table, who deserve a seat? Speeding, push the pedal down to the metal. You can't even find a ladder to get on this level. Get everything your word, never ever settle. The life of a laid back type of fellow.